Well, it's good afternoon, everyone. I know I said I'd change the time from 10 a.m. till 12 noon, but I'm just back from a 9 a.m., 9:15 a.m. hospital appointment with my granddaughter. All good news. She was getting her eyes checked, but all good. So I'm sorry, but thanks for your patience. I am doing my live video for Wonderful Wednesday. Now, when I tell you what I'm talking about today, you might actually think, what an odd title, Wonderful Wednesday, because 7 years ago today is the day I heard my gorgeous son Bruce's voice for the last time. He phoned me. So I don't even have recordings, but I do remember his words as if it was yesterday. And he said, "Don't worry, Mum, it's all going to be okay." And I know most of you do know that I lost him to suicide, but he did say, "Don't worry, Mum, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to work out for you." And I know he wanted me to succeed with Mind Circles, and he would want everything to be wonderful. So that's why the title, Wonderful Wednesday. If you've lost a loved one, you'll know that grief comes in waves and you kind of never know when. It sometimes hits you, it crashes you, it swallows you up before washing you and throwing you onto the sand. And I'm going to get quite emotional now. Takes 3 deep breaths, but you're washed onto the sand and the warmth of the sun heats your face, your body and your mind. It's when I'm hit by the thundering wave, I like to honour my son and do what I've done just now. Just take a deep breath, just focus a bit and think of the wonderful memories. So today is about these wonderful, remembering all your wonderful memories. Now, I know that there are so many different things trigger grief, and they'll be different for everyone. There's many places, sights, sounds, smells, even tastes that can evoke memories. But remember, your memories are where your loved ones continue to live on. But these memories can, of course, trigger shock and pain. But if you let them you can let them bring you some warmth and comfort, then you kind of want the memories to come. So if you've lost a loved one, or you've got, ask yourself, you maybe know already, but do you have objects, clothes, anything that reminds you of them? I mean, I discovered it was a dish towel, and funnily enough, it's actually been washed many times, but I know there's something about it that just reminds me of Bruce. Do you go to places where they went so that you feel near them? Well, I'm often asked, when does the pain go away? When will the grief end? And, I know some people will say, well, surely you've got over it now. It's 7 years. Well, I'm sorry, you don't actually ever get over the loss of a loved one, particularly the loss of a child. And I know this is very hurtful when people say this, but genuinely, I don't think they mean it. They kind of don't know what to say. There's no answer to the pain going away or the grief ending. But what I do know is that I like to think of it as ending each day I like to think of me as enduring each day in a different way. I'm not a survivor, I'm not a victim, I don't like these words. I listened and I read some lovely books by an Australian journalist who spoke to many people who'd lost loved ones, who'd been in near fatal accidents, and all of them the word that came across was that they are endurers. And I love that word. And it's why I wrote my book, this Resilience and Courage, the Key to Endurance. So I think if you find ways of being creative, you'll find the resilience and courage to change your mindset, to be more positive and start to endure each day just in a more positive, constructive way. And I do this to honour my son, and I believe that our loved ones would want us to do this. When you live in this way, it's more fulfilling, and I'm sure they wouldn't want you to be just filled with tragedy and pain and grief all the days of your life. And instead of being filled with sadness or being distraught. They would want you to live a fulfilling life in honouring them. And if you do this, you'll find that the triggers that evoke these memories fill you with a sense of love and remembrance. I mean, the triggers are anything that brings memories relating to your loved one. So it can be birthdays, holidays. Now, these are maybe the worst times, or so they say. But actually, it could be some of the worst times I've had is suddenly in the middle of the supermarket, or the radio comes on with a piece of music, and suddenly you find yourself overwhelmed. It could be a favourite meal, or something flashes into your head and mind without you ever sort of even kind of having time to think about it. And it leaves you feeling sad and wanting your loved one to be back with you. I mean, I remember I travelled when I was in Australia, not long after I had lost him. I was going up the street, and it's just so funny, but I heard this Bruce. And of course, immediately you can imagine it's not a kind of common name. And I turned round and I really thought, I was hoping he'd be there. Of course, it wasn't him, it was someone else. And it's interesting how these things, sometimes I think they're meant to happen, and I was meant to hear that. It was as if maybe he was calling me, although just to know that Bruce was there. But the memories can just hit you out of nowhere. Well, it's not really from nowhere because it comes from the triggers. But these triggers are when you least expect it. And I know that driving around, music comes on, or you're cooking something, and suddenly you find yourself just sobbing uncontrollably, as if you've been hit in the gut. Now, it leaves you with a vast range of feelings, and some people would say, well, this is terrible, and you might try to ignore it, but I think you should let the crying, let the sobs come, sort of clear out, just let your emotions go. If you've lost a loved one recently, of course, your emotions are just raw, and these triggers can cause you stress and anxiety. And of course, you might try to avoid them, but please don't do this. I mean, you might try and avoid people, places, objects, but you shouldn't, because eventually you do find that a particular song, maybe the face in a crowd, particular music, a favourite meal, it brings back memories of something wonderful about your loved one. So to me, you're even willing sometimes to endure the pain of these memories to remember the good and the wonderful memories of your loved one. Well, your memories are, to me, you need to remember that your memories are where your loved one continues to live after they're gone. And I keep my son alive through his memories. And as you know, I wrote a book about the pain, and I called it, well, the title was suggested by a good friend, I called it The Weight of Emptiness, but Comfort and Hope for the Loss of a Loved One. And I wrote this to honour him, and remembering all the memories and every wonderful thing I knew about him. And I still have copies if you want a signed copy and you feel you really want to find out how you can cope, how it can bring comfort, and how some of my tips can bring you comfort and hope, then email me at pat@mindcircles.co.uk. I'm happy to sign the book for you. It helped me. It was cathartic. I found that I got a lot of comfort from writing it. And in the book, there are stories from others who contributed to the book, and they'd lost loved ones as well. And the feedback from them was that they'd never really written about that before, and they felt it gave them some sense of acknowledgement again of their loved one, and it was therapeutic to write about them. And they were an inspiration to me, and thank you very much for allowing me to include them in my book. So if you've lost a loved one, I hope you have wonderful memories, and always remember that your loved one is in your heart and soul forever. So I know I'm a bit later in coming to the live video today, and of course next week will probably, it's next week, the 5th of May, it'll be 7 years since I lost him, and I will do a live video on the 5th of May as well, and I might call it The Weight of Emptiness. I'm not sure yet, but it will be in honour of him and all the loved ones that we've lost over these challenging months we've had as well. So for today, I think my affirmation to me would be, if you could say it, I know my loved one is in my heart and soul forever. And of course, the breathing, just take a minute or two just to breathe in through the nose, hold, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. And do that 3 times. Try and take the deep breathing 3 times, and you will feel calm, you will feel relaxed, and you will be energized as well. It just kind of helps you to go on and endure each day in a positive way. Now, I'm not going to do my usual mind bites. I'm going to say that the meditation today will just be, it's almost like, I won't do a 3-minute silence, but I would like you at the end, when you finish with this, I would like anyone who's lost a loved one, no matter who they are, I'm getting emotional again, but son, daughter, nephew, niece, grandmother, grandfather, mother, father, anybody, close friends. Sometimes our friends are very, very dear to us. So anyone you have lost, I want you to take 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, just to silence yourself, feet on the ground, back against the chair, kind of comfortable, not stiff, but you feel you've got that confidence that you know you can take a moment to think about your loved one. And if you just close your eyes just now, I want you to take a deep breath in through the nose, hold, and then exhale slowly through the mouth. Now, as you breathe in, take another deep breath in. I want you to send a smile and love to your loved one that you've lost. And just say to yourself, I'm living as fully as I can in honour of your life. Take a moment to remember their face, the smell of their clothes, the funny anecdotes. Just imagine and put your arms around them and hold them close in your heart and soul. They will be there forever. Now take another deep breath in through your nose, hold, and then exhale. And when you open your eyes, say the words again. My loved one is in my heart and soul forever. And then just shake your shoulders, shuggle as I call them, yawn, stretch your arms. And if you feel sadness coming over you, let the sadness come, let the tears flow. You need to release these emotions. But I hope this has brought some warmth and comfort to you if you've lost a loved one. As you know, I'm doing my live videos now just once a week on a Wednesday, and I do like to do them about 10 o'clock. And I'm sorry that this one was later today, but needs must. We have to just fit in and not panic. So I will post this up and you'll be able to hear it. Now, I still want kind of positive titles, so if you can suggest titles for a Wednesday live video, but next week it's going to be a difficult one. But I want to honour my son, and it's the day, 5th of May. So I hope you listen in and watch. And of course, as always, please remember my 2 trademark tips. Smile and laugh. They cost you nothing. And virtual hugs to you all. I hope you've got a lovely evening, and the rest of the week goes well for you and the weekend. And I'll be on live video next week, and I hope you listen in and watch. Thank you very much. Bye for now.